Nice.
Oh, hey, we're live.
Good. Look at it. Look at it.
On the screen, on the cameras. Hello, my name is Christopher, and this is Paul.
Hello.
And we are professional gums, which is how you pronounce GMs.
My name is Paul. I have a computer.
Good morning. You do. Paul has a computer, so
It's the week before GenCon.
it sure is. How you doing? Yeah.
I'm awake and alive.
Yeah. Oh boy. Lots of things.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that I have been really pleased with these sessions so far, the previous 4 sessions up to this, is that they've been like the stuff that you and I've planned. I feel like we've planned roughly 90 minutes to 2 hours worth of gameplay.
Right.
And they always take 3-ish hours.
Right.
Now the first half of that is like, welcome to the stream, and let's catch up from last time, and stuff that you wouldn't necessarily do live in person.
Right.
Talking to the chat, talking to the chat. So I think that it ends up being about 2.5 hours of play.
Right. I think that's true.
But I'm still writing what I feel like 90 minutes of content, and it's coming out to be about 2.5 hours, 2+ hours of play. So that's good, but that also echoes the experience I had this weekend. Because this weekend I ran a bunch of the Stolen Legacy adventure that we're going to be putting out for free sometime soon.
Yeah.
By the end of this week.
Yep.
Maybe early next week.
Yep.
And that adventure is, I wrote it to be a one-shot session, and it is, but it's like a 6-hour session.
It's like a whole Saturday.
Yes, it's like one of those days when you were like a teenager or maybe in college. College is more accurate for me.
College is the best,
yeah, and you got together with your friends like, we're going to start playing at 10 a.m. and we're going to like pause for lunch or like obtain food and eat while we play, and then like obtain snacks and eat while we play. But like we're going to play from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. and it's going to be awesome.
Right.
That is the experience that the Stolen Legacy is. Yeah. And so you can play multiple times, but I kind of want the other one-shots we put out to be less huge.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I think that like a 4-hour. I don't think I want to be putting out 90-minute one-shots, but I think like a 3-hour to 4-hour one-shot is better than a 6-hour one-shot, because it's not really a one-shot then. I'd rather put out like, oh hey, here's a collection of 2 or 3 90-minute to 2-hour things all put together, and it counts as 3 issues, but it's not intended to be one giant session.
Right.
So anyway,
I've had an interesting experience with the Stolen Legacy adventure.
Yeah.
So since it's called Stolen Legacy, I wanted to make the joke about how we should also make a holiday bread themed one called Stolen Legacy.
Right.
But in order to commit to the joke and really do it right, I had to search for that in Google to make sure I spelled stolen right.
Yeah.
And I was right about the spelling. But now Google thinks I'm really into holiday breads and is constantly giving me recipes for holiday breads.
I mean, that could be
which is like fine. Yeah,
right. I was
I'm
like,
pretty
that's
happy
fine. The problem is that if you're going to do that, you need to change the definition of both words. You can't just be
Correct.
So you need a new definition for legacy, which is fine, but like legacy's pun is a name in of itself.
Right, which is tricky.
Yeah.
It's hard with like
maybe it's a holiday bread that when you eat it, you add stickers to it, like, tear parts of it up.
Right, exactly.
Most breads, when you eat them, it's a one-time experience. You can't reset it and play it again. This bread, even more so.
Yeah. I think that you could have a book about the history of German holiday breads called Stolen Legacy.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's reasonable. Let's publish that as well.
Okay. All right, so for this session, the thing that we're doing this session, so at the end of the last session that we ran, hello chat, hello.
Is there chat?
Is there?
There's some people, we're just talking about bread, and people are doing something.
Are you looking at the chat?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Voices, a banner just still. Can everyone hear us and see us now?
Is that working?
On the chat, it's a little bit. The video was for a bit, but not audio.
Not audio.
So no one has audio?
They didn't hear all our great jokes?
We made some really good jokes.
Really good jokes.
Can people see or hear us?
I think that we discovered. I think that what we discovered is like the lag is like 20 seconds ish.
Something like that, yeah.
Behind us, so.
Yes. Okay. So some people are saying hello, Christopher and Paul.
Yes, but that doesn't necessarily. Can you answer the question of can you hear or see us?
Right. So I can hear you, but the video is glitching for me currently.
Did we do the thing where we go around and tell everybody in the office to stop doing computers? I thought we were supposed to have the better internets by late July.
Nope.
Well, I mean, that was what we said at one point.
I mean, at one point, like...
Yeah. I don't know if there's any new news on that.
There've been multiple people looking around, being confused as to whether or not fiber is attached to the building or not, and trying to install it and not thinking they can.
Okay. I just was curious because they had said at one point the word on the street was that we would have the fiber by late July, and it is now definitely a time that qualifies as late July. But maybe we'll have it for the next time we do a live stream. By which I mean like this fall.
We cannot hear you, so we cannot answer your answer.
That some people say they can't hear us, and some people say they can hear us.
So all has been great for some people.
If some people can hear us, then I feel like the people that can't hear us, that's not from us.
Some people have audio and video. Audio is better now. No burp stutters or anything. The stream is fine for me. It's working fine now. I will refresh then.
Okay.
No, we can't hear you. Let's just in about a minute. I can hear you. I can hear you fine. Okay, so some people can hear us.
If you can't hear us, then you won't hear any advice I would give you about how to fix the problem of not being able to hear us.
Right. Yes. Some people think it's perfect.
Okay, great. Well,
so good.
Anyway, so let's just
now we're on with the business.
So at the end of last session, they destroyed the laser dragon. They killed the laser dragon. That's awesome. And then Adam's character was inside the laser dragon when it was destroyed, and the sword came out.
Right.
But no Adam.
Right.
And we discussed at the end, like metagame knowledge, Adam went into the sword.
Right.
They are aware that Adam went into the sword. So presumably at the beginning of the thing here, like they already returned to the castle.
Right. They're going to try to get him out. That's definitely what they will do.
Yes, of course. I hope so. Like they return to the castle, they have some bits of laser dragon. Craig has some like notion about when he's going to try to make something out of those.
Right.
That'd be cool. I figured they're going to try to interface with the castle in some way to make the castle help him. But so here's my concern.
Right.
Here's the situation as I see it.
Right.
Is that I feel like the thing that I want them to do, but I do not require them to do, is to go into the sword to get Adam out. I don't really see another option for them to get Adam out other than going into the sword.
Right.
And so like I feel like there's going to be times in which they're like, well, let's get the sword to talk to the castle or something, but they don't have a thing that interfaces with the castle anymore. They destroyed the medallion. So like they can.
Is there any possibility for them to get another one or
another medallion? Well, there aren't any more medallions. Is the thing.
Oh, like, nowhere.
Yeah, no, like not. Certainly not with them and not in the castle. There was the only one medallion that was able to bring them to the castle. Presumably, there might be other medallions somewhere out in space.
Yeah.
But in the castle, no.
Right.
So like they can poke things on computers and stuff and try to make the castle work, but they no longer have like a handy tutorial guide on how to castle. And that's fine. The castle is not the key to their current problem. The key to their current problem is follow Adam into the sword, go into the sword, have an adventure in the sword. And we have, and I'm not putting this art up on the screen for the viewers here, but I want you to see it. I have an art of what it is like inside the sword. Yeah, so like there's a swordscape place inside the sword that they are going to visit and deal with stuff there.
So if they come to you and one of the magical characters is like, so I want to somehow use my magic powers to kind of see if I can like pull Adam out of the sword and like channel magic power in there. Yes. What kind of thing will happen? Like what's the result of that?
They will not be able to do so. They the trick is like I'm not even going to let them. Well, no, I'll let them roll an overcome, but they will not be able to pull Adam out of the sword. The overcome will tell them that Adam is like part of the sword. You cannot pull Adam out of the sword any more than you can pull a piece of metal out of a larger chunk of metal. Just like now it's out. Just like no, it's all one thing. And the only way to pull him out of the sword would be to go in after him. But going in after him risks maybe getting trapped in the sword. So you've got to take some risk here.
Right.
So like they can do whatever diagnostics type stuff they want, but ultimately they need to make the choice to go into the sword. And then once they're in there, I want to kind of let them. I want to give them kind of open-ended, go do what you want.
Right.
But that giving them a lot of like.
Right. So they feel kind of stuff.
Well, so before we get into this kind of stuff, I want to figure out if there's anything that I need to do to make sure that and I'm not too worried about it. I feel like whatever punches they throw my way in terms of like we want to try this, we want to try that. I have things I can do like okay, look, these are like you can do all these different things. Ultimately, nothing is going to get Adam out of the sword. And
so what I'd probably do in this situation, so I don't have to tell them no, is I would probably, anytime someone channels their magic into the sword, that they also just get sucked into the sword.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just be like, oh, you're interacting with the sword?
Right.
Into the sword you go.
Yeah, exactly. So like if you're interacting with magic, where like so interacting with the sword with magic is like the way to get sucked into the sword, and then you just do. And then if someone else is like, if they're there and they're technologing it and looking at it, you're like, oh, it's a normal sword. It seems to have weird energy resonances. I don't know about it. They seem very magical.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, I'm gonna use magic. Well, no, you're in the sword. Right. And then if you wind up in a situation where like the magical characters, these two magical characters in the sword, and Craig is like, I am outside the sword. Well, then you can switch over to them being in the sword and being like, and then give them even an opportunity to pull Craig into the sword.
Sure. I also don't have a problem with like if a character grabs the hilt, because they're being super cagey about touching the sword right now.
Right.
If a character grabs the hilt, they're going to feel a tug, and they can immediately let it go. But if they don't immediately let it go, they're going to get pulled in.
Right.
So
then they can choose kind of to stay.
Right.
Because I could see them deciding to leave one person outside the sword
Yeah.
and then monitor things.
Right.
And like I could even imagine a technological solution like, okay, well, we know there's a bunch of monitor things around in the castle, and there's a bunch of stuff on. I want to get a thing where the sword is over here, and these like probes are going into it, and I get some vague readings about what's going on, and I'm outside and stuff like that. And I might even let them like, okay, if someone is really into that and they want to stay outside the castle, and like they might be able to like vaguely manipulate, like push on things from outside, so then that would then change
the trick
your
is that
experience
like
when
the
you're
way
inside.
that the sword works is entirely through this cosmic magic stuff that is exactly the same cosmic magic stuff, but used very differently that Rey has going on.
Right.
And so there's not like, it was like, oh, let's monitor the electromagnetic frequencies or whatever the sword. It's a sword. Like as far as technology can tell, man, like there's just nothing weird about this sword. It's just metal sword, and all of the weirdness of the sword is this magical aspect. So anyway, okay, cool. I just wanted to kind of talk through some things and be like, if they decide, because surprisingly they were super slow to cleanse the amulet. They were not really like, it was like, hey, here's this amulet, and it's got this super powerful magical energy on the inside, and then this like layer of corruption on the outside. And I took pains to explain bad stuff on the outside, strong power on the inside. Probably could be removed, and everyone's like, okay, cool. And it wasn't until I'm like, well, do you want to cleanse the amulet? Do you want to cleanse the corruption of the amulet? That anybody thought to do that?
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about people's willingness to just jump into a situation.
Yeah, something I've read about before, and it's kind of true in my experience as a GM, is that if you like want to leave a clue to get someone to do something, one super obvious clue is insufficient. You need at minimum 3 super obvious clues that are that seem unrelated to each other.
Right.
All pointing at the same thing.
Yeah.
And then
like, I mean, the first one for me, well, so regardless of the first one, this entire campaign since day one has been like, look at how all of this evil magical energy and everything is the same as the energy inside Adam and the energy in the sword. Like, look at how these things are the same.
I think they mostly got that. Now, they also know like purple energy, oh, that's bad.
Purple and silver is bad, red and gold is good.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the trick is the sword is gold.
Yeah.
Because it was made by this evil lady to specifically be like, tempting.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's a silver and purple gold, a sword that she just like spray painted gold. It's like, aha. Like, so.
Yeah. So, but if you want to give them some clues about that, that's a good, since they've like figured that out.
Yeah.
If they've gotten that clue.
If they
so you can
are
lean
like
into
trying to do like a cleansing thing to it, I could even let them do a thing where Stella Nova could reveal the sword for what it is, and so the sword still looks the same, but it is now silver and purple on the outside. It's not gold on the outside anymore.
Right.
So it's like, now do you want to go in there?
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Because they got that clue, so you can like lean into it and use it. The color clue.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool.
That's good.
So then now we go into the sword, and I could like make the sword environment, which is fine. Like I probably will make the sword environment, or at least like make some like elements that essentially comprise an environment. But the important part here is not like, here's the scene I'm laying out, here's the scene I want to push them through. This is the most open-ended thing we've ever done.
Yes.
Because they're in the sword, and they need to figure out how to get out of the sword, and they're going to have one or perhaps multiple antagonists. I kind of was just leaning towards having the one, but I could make a case for more than one if need be. The one antagonist is Sir Arton, who is the leader of the Knights Cosmic. He was the one that wielded the sword in that memory that they saw, that bit of history, that time window they saw, that he pulled the sword out. He's like, okay, well, let's go find the thing. I have this new source of power. And the thing that I want them to learn is that the sword was created by Stella Tenebrae to tempt Sir Arton to the dark side.
And that worked.
And it worked. He used it, he wielded it, and the more he used it, the more he funneled his own power and energy through it, the more the sword like slowly took him over, as we've been seeing with Adam, and ultimately he just got drawn into the sword. And the same thing has now happened to Adam. And now Sir Arton has been in the sword for centuries. He's been in the sword for a long time, and he has become like fully corrupted by the sword. So he is an opponent. He is he knows how the sword works. He can disappear from one of these random staircases and like sink into the floor there and rise up out of the floor somewhere else and attack them and things. And if they want to just like fight him and defeat him, that's fine. But my hope is that they're going to be like, oh, maybe we can like save him, because he'll be very recognizable. He'll look really different, but he's still like this big armored knight with 4 arms, and he's wielding a sword. I want them to. I want them to save him. Given how things have gone in the past, I kind of expect them to not.
Yeah. What does saving him look like?
Oh, so this is the thing. So here's there's various answers to this question.
Right.
If they want to like save him and like, oh, we redeem him, he like comes back into himself, so he's not just this like mindless monster, and he can give them a bunch of information about these things that happened that they saw the beginnings of. Okay, what happened after that? How did that go?
Sure,
You can tell them these things, and then he like ceases to exist. Or can they save him to the point where not only can they bring Adam out of the sword, but they can also bring him out of the sword, and he'll be an ally for them in the final battle against Skeleton Embry. Like there's a whole spectrum here of, or maybe they just like, no, we're just going to defeat him. And if there's like full on, no, let's just kill him and defeat him. What I will do is have him like have a dying breath moment where he's like, oh, thank you for releasing me from this prison, and tell them the information that I want them to know. So one way or another, I can get them this information, but I want them to be better than just like, as much as that would work. Like, I want to believe more from them. I want them to be heroes.
I'm imagining this like sort of, I forget which one of the Elder Scrolls games has some scenes where you go into someone's memories or into the past, and there's like ghost things going around.
I don't know that I've played that.
Stuff. There's also there's at least one StarCraft mission where you see like the past, and there's like inside of a crystal. I forget. I don't know.
These are really good examples that I'm not picking up what you're laying down.
That's all right.
But
right.
like, yes.
But like with these like the shadows of the past, and some of them are corrupt.
And that was what we did.
Yeah.
Well, so that was what we did last week.
Right. Yeah. But now this is like these past people corrupted, I guess.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So now we're in a place that is present day, and these people are this person, Sir Arton. Because I don't think so. Sir Arton has wielded the sword. No one else has since. The sword. Then and he's like the sword was made by Skeleton Embry to lay the knight's cosmic low, and then she left it in a place where Sir Arton would get it. He did get it. He got it. He used the power from it, and he defeated laser dragons, and he defended the castle. But then he returns to the castle, and he's like, great. Now we have to like over time he becomes more and more this like tyrant as opposed to this like leader of these space cops type people. So that is his story, and then ultimately he falls to the power of the sword. I kind of want him to be fighting whatever her name is. I have it on the piece of paper. Then I want him to come to blows with the knight that held the amulet they had. I have her name on the piece of paper. It's been it's the week before GenCon. And like he kills her, and that's why her amulet is just like off and lost and gone. And that's like the final act of him being like
going to the dark side.
Right.
That's good. That's good. That's cool.
But that's all stuff they can learn about the past. That's all stuff they learn in post. So my question is like when they're in here, like, what is the stuff to give them? What is the challenges to give them?
Right. Like, is there a way? So, are you imagining that there's a way that they can actually like make the sword not evil?
No.
Okay.
What? Well, so I mean, actually, no. Yes, I believe that they could. I believe that like, do they want to try to cleanse the sword from the inside? But the thing is, like, the amulet was a good thing in the first place. That again got corrupted. This is a thing that's been built from corruption from the ground up. So, maybe they could rework the sword from the inside out to make the sword into a positive thing.
And then instead of being star blight, it's star bright.
Or star might, or star flight, or star kite, or
for star AC tonight.
Yeah. Any of those things.
So maybe like then there's a series of challenges in different zones where they have to do different kinds of things, where if they succeed and do it, they can switch the ambiance from being very like broken and jarring and purpley silver to being like more like pleasing and orderly and ready gold.
Yeah,
and
the
then
problem
you
is that
can
like there isn't
sequentially do that in different places
Right,
until
so
you're
the
like rebuilding the matrix.
Yeah, the thing is that
magical
red and
matrices.
gold, like red and gold isn't just like, oh, red and gold is the naturally occurring good stuff and this is bad stuff. Like, I would almost rather that they rebuild the sword to be like Ray's energy signature.
Oh,
rather than because
cool.
they are not this
Right.
team. This team of 4 people.
Is
They're
not the
they're
red and
not the
gold
red and
team.
gold team.
Yeah.
They've been like
Right.
getting help
No,
from the
that's-
red and gold team.
that's even
But
better
like, there's
then.
no. They're not
Because Ray has that kind of
Well,
power,
this is the
so-
thing that I've been giving them from the beginning. They are like every time they interact the amulet and all. They're like, oh no, like the amulet's like you should use this stuff. You're not Knights Cosmic. You're not the Knights Cosmic. You're not. That's not who you are. And I don't want that to be them feeling like. That's not a negative thing. It's just true about them. There's something else.
Right,
There's
yeah.
something.
And actually, that makes the Ray's energy signature makes a lot of sense. Like, if
Yeah.
you've got to do it with magic, and she can start doing it because, like, Stella Tenebrae's energy signature is the purple silver energy signature. What is
Ray's purple is just I mean she's like green and white for the moon. So like there's that.
That's cool.
Yeah. And there's she has purple, she has blue, green and white. I think that's pretty much it. So like that's a thing that I kind of want them to explore on their own. Like I'm interested in them trying to make it like red and gold. It's like there's no red and gold to draw on here. There's no because like the two things they've cleansed so far have had a foundation of red and gold that
and
they
then
were
it
able
just comes out,
to fix it.
So here's what I would do then probably is if they get in that situation where they're using magic to try to do it, and you have to be like, well, okay, who can use magic? Well, okay, Ray's the one who can use magic.
Right, well,
to do
and
it 'cause
when
it
with anybody-
resonates with your kind of feeling, and then just ask her like, okay,
Exactly. With anybody they do, like what energy, what is the color of the
and
energy
get her
that
to
you're using here?
define an energy signature for herself because I don't think she's thought about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she has it for the lunar orb. The lunar orb is the thing that she puts everything into, and that has it's like a white orb with green glow around it. So that tends to be the energy signature because she herself is purple. That doesn't necessarily mean right. Okay. So what I want to do, I've been jotting notes down about this environment.
Oh, cool, yeah.
About the stuff they're going to be doing there.
Around in the sword.
But I also want to build. I was going to build Sir Arton just kind of as a challenge, but I think I need to build him as a villain who then also has an associated challenge. And the challenge is about can you
convert him?
Can
over
you
to
save this guy?
the light side, yeah.
But regardless.
So that way they could fight him, or they could try to.
Right, and I figure this is going to be a kind of a Spirit Island sort of situation here, where you win Spirit Island not because you go all the way through the Fear deck or because you destroy literally every invader piece. You win at the apex of these two things.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the kind of thing where as they fight him, they weaken him, and then also they're like doing this challenge thing here, and like which direction they want to lean into. Because that's the thing. As these, I don't have a good feel with this party what their preference will be in terms of will they try to save him or will they try to defeat him. Because he's going to show up and attack. He's going to be like a hardcore antagonist from the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
So if they're
and
like,
they can
that's good
get
enough.
at him out either way.
Yes. Well, so that's the thing. Is that my ideal would be that they end this session out of the sword. The sword is in some way changed or maybe destroyed. Like maybe they destroy the sword from the inside out, and then they all get free, and then there is no sword going into the last session.
Yeah.
Or maybe the sword is still this evil artifact, but Adam is like, no, I need something here to make this work. Or they change the sword in some way. They rebuild the sword to be a different sort of thing.
Right.
And then going into the last session is confrontation and fight with Stella Tenebrae.
Right.
So there's a part of me that's like, I don't mind if this session ends with them still stuck on the sword.
Right.
Like, if they end the session with like, we've learned about this place and we've started working on like converting this place into a positive place or whatever, and we're like fighting / saving Sir Arton, and we get to the end of the session, I'm like, okay, you've successfully done something. Maybe they're still in the sword, but it's positive now, or they've defeated Sir Arton and they've learned and they're about to escape the sword. So yeah, there's that, and then
when they escape, so your vision for the live session is they go right into a battle with Stella.
So this is the next thing I want to talk about. So let me get down some notes real quick on Arton and the environment, and then this is a mean environment. So. How's the chat doing?
Really good, really good.
Does the does it seem to be working now?
Yep, they've decided that purple is the best power color. Mauve is the worst power color.
I don't know that I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And certainly the hero, the mauve mantis. I disagree. Where does eggshell fall on the list of colors for power signatures? Eggshell's a little ways down. Speedy Old Rack asks how GenCon prep is coming. It's coming. We're still alive.
Amazingly.
Beige is the most boring power color. It's for powers like telekinesis, but only works for folding your laundry. Cytosine says, although that would be a really good power. See, this is the thing. Powers that are boring in RPGs, in my experience, would be fantastic to have in real life.
In real life, yeah. It's the same thing with like superpowers. People say like, oh, the cool superpowers are things like shooting flame and stuff like that. But in real life, you actually don't need most of the like offensive superpowers. You want the utility superpowers.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like telekinesis, but folding laundry. Like, that'd be great. Unless it takes like literally as long and as much effort as.
It's like sure, you can sit there and like telekinesis, but it's the same as doing it with your hands, and like who cares?
But if you could have a lot of laundries going on simultaneously, that would just be fantastic.
So.
But yeah, GenCon prep is coming along. It is. It's a lot. It's a lot. We actually leave early Monday morning. This coming Monday morning for GenCon. So we've got to be completely done before then.
All right, cool. That is great.
This is the reason why these are going to make really good audio-only sessions for the podcast.
Is it all the silence?
Listen to Christopher Wright.
I'm just giving. No, I don't like that. Maybe inhibitor. I am figuring out exactly how I want this guy to work. Ooh, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So.
Well, you were writing this. They in the chat are creating the Mauve Martyr, which is the virtuoso with the shortest career.
Yeah.
Who plays the signature instrument, the Sad Trombone.
The Sad Trombone.
And, Speedy Orak asks me what the panel that Jody and I are having about shipping is about. It's about Harry Potter and Link in high school and their forbidden love.
Harry Potter and Link?
Yeah. Harry Potter and Link. Like, we're imagining fanfic about Harry Potter and Link in there.
Link? You're doing some crossover shipping.
Yeah, right.
Because usually people ship characters that are in
absolutely.
similar...
No, you're definitely correct.
Okay.
This is like some really advanced shipping technique.
All right. Cool.
That's what's going on.
Nice.
So we wanna hear our fan fiction Sunday at GenCon. Jody and I will let you know the stuff. Speedy Orak is totally there.
Yeah, no, that
for
reads.
Battle. Yeah, that's good. People are impressed by your pen scratches.
Are they?
It's really great.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
They sound good to everyone.
Yeah, I'm rocking that out here.
Yeah. So Rakunu is talking about the playtesting forums,
Okay.
which they don't have access to.
Right.
And
that's true.
I know we had mentioned, though, that we are planning on
Post-GenCon.
post-GenCon allowing new people that are really into want to do some playtesting and stuff like that for us to get access to that to bolster the ranks of playtesting. So.
And?
To actually, not sarcastically answer the question, the shipping panel at GenCon is actually about freight shipping and logistics and all sorts of stuff that we do in the warehouse that Jody and Matt and I, the three of us, will talk about with stuff that we're really into. And we had a panel, 2-hour panel last year. We just talked about shipping and freight and all sorts of stuff like that, and it went really well. So we're going to do it again. And we have more people signed up for it this year. It's kind of cool. So, looking forward to that. Basically just we sit around and talk about freight logistics. I will definitely wind up talking about Class 1 railroads for a while. Intermodal shipping.
Those all sound exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty good. What time is it? It is...
Right now, I believe it's...
No, the shipping panel at GenCon. Off the top of my... It's on the GenCon website. You can look it up. It is on Sunday at GenCon. It is in the middle of the day. It's at like 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. or a time like that.
All right, he's going to boost himself.
That sounds great.
Hat.
Says lots back.
See, that's good. That's good, you see.
Yeah. Sunday at 11 a.m. SPOREC looked it up. So, people are asking if at the end of this season they will be able to see the visitors' character sheets.
Yeah, that's fair. The trick is right now the visitor character sheets have a couple of abilities that I need to update the wording on. So I'll need to update those sheets.
Yeah.
And in the time that I would normally, like if this were any other time of year and I was working on this, I would absolutely have those out by now.
Right.
But GenCon prep,
exactly.
like Tuesday is the only day that I work on this stuff.
Right, yeah. So the answer is like, definitely eventually.
Yeah.
That's good. And then we're actually talking about doing future seasons of this RPG. So we'll make like more formal announcements about this later, but the idea is that the next season will run this fall, culminating probably around PAX Unplugged.
Yeah.
And I will GM that. And we'll have a totally different group of players in there, and we'll have Christopher on the chat with me GMing, and then Adam will actually just do the GM prep with me, and he's going to draw the art for that.
No,
so that will be arted by Adam.
I'm not going to do GM prep with you?
Yeah, Adam wants to do the GM prep with me because he wants to have
because that also put him...
he wants to run later,
that
and
makes
he wants
sense.
to...
That'll be
he's
good.
having like a little bit like experience
cool.
GMing and stuff like that. So,
cool.
And then since he will be doing that, he wants to do the art for it, which is actually fantastic. Because
well, then maybe he should do the chat then.
Maybe, that's true.
Like,
actually.
yeah,
that's very reasonable.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
We're still...
Yeah.
All right, cool. Boom.
So that will be fun. But we're planning on doing character creation for that in late August. And then starting that panel sometime in late September, early October. But that way I know that there was some difficulty with the video, at least, and various things for the first character creation panel, the session 0, character creation session for this season. And so we're going to do a little bit better produced character creation session there where hopefully we will actually have the fully laid out chapter 3, the character creation chapter, fully laid out, fully graphic designed and printed out for the people to be able to build their characters from. So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, so the character creation, I think that we discovered last time is the character creation session is up on, it is viewable. It's up, viewable. It's up on Twitch. I don't think it's up on YouTube. But
right. What happened was the video is kind of corrupted and weird for it. We're
so we're not going to be able to get it up on YouTube.
We're going to be able to extract audio from it
for the podcast.
For the podcast, for the Greater Than Games podcast, which we are launching. Just audio only versions of this.
Right.
This stuff, all these sessions, some of our GenCon panels and stuff like that. So if you prefer to listen to that kind of thing in the car in a podcast format, it'll be there for you. But yeah.
Okay. Cool, great. So, you had a thing that you were asking me about, and I said, let me write this stuff down first, and I'd come back to it. What was it?
I was going to ask you what Adam is going to be doing during this.
Oh, okay, that was what it was. There was something else that you mentioned right when I started writing this, and you were like, you wanted to talk about a thing. It wasn't that, because that was what we wanted to talk about before we came in the air.
I don't
You
know.
don't remember. We'll see if anybody in the chat remembers. Meanwhile, we'll talk about what Adam's going to do.
Right.
So yeah, chat, if you recall what it was that Paul was going to ask me before, I said, hold on, I need to write this stuff down. I've now written this stuff down, so what was it that Paul wanted to know from me? At the beginning of the session, Adam is not going to be able to do anything because he's not here. But I don't, and like with Adam, I don't mind being like, hey, look, for the next 15, 20 minutes, you got nothing. But before we go on the air, I'm going to talk to him privately, secretly on the side, and tell him some things about what he's experiencing and give him a feel for what's going on in the sword so that he knows his character isn't doing nothing. His character's not in stasis or something. And like if we were doing an RPG live at a table or something, I'd be like, hey guys, get some water, get some drinks or something. Adam and I are going to go talk in the hall. And I tell Adam some things and then we come back in. I don't want to do that here. So instead I'm essentially going to do that before we go on the air. So occasionally I will have questions for Adam like, hey Adam, how is the thing that you said you wanted to work on going? Or like, Adam, I need you to roll an overcome check. Okay, great. And things like that.
So what is that going to be that he's...
So this is the question. I'm going to pose a bunch of stuff to Adam. This is not the question that we need to answer. It's a question Adam needs to answer. I'm like, hey, here you're in this place. What are the things you want to do? And I'm essentially going to set him up with like, ideally tasks A, B, and C. We'll see if he has those about what he's wanting to do. And then when I'm like, hey Adam, I need you to roll an overcome on the second thing that we talked about. I need you to roll an overcome on the third thing. So I'm going to have note cards, which what those things are that are hidden, and he's also going to have note cards with those things.
Perfect. That's
so
cool.
that like
That's cool like hidden information.
Well, and also that way the other players aren't like, oh, so I guess Adam's dead. Like no, they in a meta sense know he's in there doing stuff. We probably need to get in there. It adds a sense of urgency without me because like I don't anticipate adding, this might be a session that I just don't use a scene tracker on. Because there's not necessarily a hurry and finish this before destruction. The destruction is that they might get killed by Sir Arton or they might get trapped in the sword. The only way that I would add a scene tracker is if they resolve everything and then they're like working towards getting out of the sword and they don't have a good way for getting out of the sword. I might be like, okay, the sword's closing in on you. Here's a scene tracker. Continue doing things. So, yeah.
Cool.
Did the chat have any recollection of what it was that you wanted to ask me?
No.
Cool, great. Good. Well, and that's lost to history. I'm pretty happy with where things are going here. It's really going to depend on
Sir Arton as a villain and as a challenge associated.
Yeah, right. The challenge is just going to be like I need them to build ways to come up with ways in which they're going to try to get through his like mental armor and like talk to the person that was Sir Arton, not the creature they now face in the sword. So.
Are they going to be able to, like, if they're just wandering around in the sword, not necessarily with him, what's going to be going on? What do they have that they'll do?
They're going to be, so if they're going to be, I'm going to give them some time to wander around in the sword and experience the fact that, like, they're walking down these stairs and then they realize, no, it's a shift in perspective. I'm walking upstairs and the stairs that I was coming down before aren't there anymore and instead it, like, spirals off to the side. And, like, they're going to be, like, experiencing this weird MC Escher-esque landscape that they're inside of. And then at a certain point, they're going to start getting like hit and run attacked by Sir Arton. Because the big thing that his character is built out of is this, like, he's able to teleport through any of the Blightland, which is the area that's in the Matrix. He has the same Blight Matrix abilities that Adam does. He has very similar abilities to what we've seen Adam doing in combat because he is a wielder of the sword. But he'll be able to essentially like teleport through the thing. Then he'll like show up and attack them and be like, you know, you will become part of the thing. They're also going to have like things that the environment is doing to try to assimilate them.
Is the environment statted out like an environment?
Yeah. Where it has purple silver energy, it has the unknowable walkways, and it has blight space. Those are the three like qualities of it. And it's rather than it having challenges that they need to solve, it is going to essentially be trying to overcome them. And if it is successful at overcoming them, then they will be hindered in ways, and they will have to like essentially boost each other to get out of these hinders. And this is like a labyrinth sort of thing that is trying to close in on them. So,
That's cool.
I
like that.
Does the chat have any questions? I'm actually, I thought this was going to take a lot longer, but now that I started putting this together, it fell together pretty well. I'm very happy with the environment. I'm very happy with Sir Arton, and I've got a 4-part challenge.
The only question people have is what happens at... Oh! This was my question.
Okay, good.
This is the question.
Okay.
It is... How is the transition from this sword to them fighting Stella Tenebra going to work?
Right. That was
How
the thing
is
that I wanted to
GenCon
talk
Live
about.
gonna work?
So right. So for
Yeah.
this session, I was like, I think there's everything for the session. It is everything for the session. This is
Yeah.
talking about next session.
Right.
So this is because I was like, man, I can't think of anything else. It's because there was nothing else.
That's the other thing.
Good job, chat. You guys get a gold
Speedo
star.
Rec and Renovantis, both.
Nicely done. So the question is, what are we doing? Because we're still going to do a GM prep session, you and me, on Tuesday of next week
Right.
for GenCon Live. Will it be televised or on Twitch? That depends
I
on
think it will.
Trevor. You think so?
Yeah, Trevor and I had made some schemes.
Okay.
And I bought some things.
Ooh.
And that might make it work.
Okay.
We're gonna see.
Well,
It's the goal.
that is the goal.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether or not we do it live, it will exist. We will do that thing and not film it because we'll still need to prep for it. But so if either way, at the end of the session, I don't want them seeing Stella Tenebrae until next week. They're going to see her next week for the first time.
Right.
So the question is, what? The question is what is the transition from, okay, they get free from the sword and they deal with her.
Right.
If they stay trapped in the sword at the end of the session, what I want to do next week is they come out of the sword and she's holding the sword. So that she's there and she's like, oh, I wasn't sure if you were going to make it out or not. Well, anyway, I'm here to destroy your castle, because they're in the castle right now. I'm here to destroy your castle, all your stuff, take this over. I did all this work a long time ago and I thought this was locked down. Now it seems to have been fixed. That's bad. You're to pay. You're to be punished for this. And then I would love to have the battlegrounds for this place be inside the castle.
Yeah.
So if not, if they get out of the sword during this session,
Yeah.
and I kind of think they won't, because they tend to take forever to do things, which is fine.
Right.
If they're still in the sword at the end of the, or if they get out of the sword by the end of the session, I'll have them be in the castle, and I'll have a voice coming through like the loudspeakers and be like, you know, I'm on my way to take this castle back, and them to have like alerts on the screens of like there's like 200 laser dragons that are approaching this castle, and some sort of powerful force with them that the sensors can't quite get a read on, but. So they either will end the session under siege, or in the session in the sword, about to leave the sword, not sure what they will find on the outside.
Right.
Assuming that I'm guessing they will assume that nothing will have changed on the outside, and I don't want to do any ominous hinting. I don't want to do any like, oh, you don't know what the world is like outside the sword. Like, I want to leave them like they might themselves come to those conclusions, which is a fair conclusion to come to. But,
Right.
So that is my plan, depending on how far they get today.
That's good. Now, there's also a question from Janagro, which I think is spoilers that we won't answer.
Okay.
But is, what does Stella Tenebra look like?
Who knows?
Yeah.
It's unknowable.
It is.
Unknowable.
Yeah. We're actually just not going to have art of that.
Right,
You're
no.
have to imagine it.
It would be like, oh, you look at a thing and your eyes cannot know the thing they're looking at. You're like, she's just undescribable, unknowable, unseeable. She's not invisible. There's definitely something there.
Right. But unseeable. Unseeable is different from invisible.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You could see her if you were good enough,
Yeah.
powerful enough
Right.
at seeing.
You'd have to have D12 eyes.
Right.
Yeah. Not a number.
No.
A D12
Right,
level
yeah.
eyes.
Not like a random number of eyes from 1 to 12. No. That'd be dumb.
Roll the D12. What number comes up? 2. Pfft, that's a ridiculous number of eyes.
Yeah. No.
All right.
We will
we
see
good?
you all,
Yeah.
in like
An hour and some
15
change.
minutes.
Yeah, roughly. We'll see you then. And thanks for watching.